I'm tripping over the mailing scales, the weighing scales. At least that means we're going to do a weigh-in this week, if we remember. Talking of weighing scales, if you want to buy a set of weighing scales, might recommend you do that from weirdfromtheinternet.com/Amazon. They sell weighing scales, including the official Weird From The Internet endorsed weighing scales, which is the Fitbit Aria, which costs only £99.99 and is Wi-Fi enabled, just like all good sets of weighing scales should be.
Did I ever tell you that every time your partner weighs herself, I get an update on my phone telling me what she weighs?
How?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. I noticed you're wearing jeans.
You should probably tell her that.
I'm not telling her that.
I'm going to tell her
mortified.
That would be quite amusing, because we don't get those updates anymore, because it's not connected to the Wi-Fi anymore.
Oh, they all come
So
through
I don't understand how you're getting them, because it's not. Is that still happening now? Because ever since we got our new router, it's not connecting to the Wi-Fi anymore.
I'll have to check, but I was
well, let me know how much she weighs next time she weighs herself, because she won't tell me.
So back to the promotion. You're wearing jeans. Does that mean it's winter now?
Yeah. September started.
Everyone should be buying all their Christmas presents, all their back-to-school shenanigans, fireworks,
jeans, for
eggnog, jeans.
If you need to get yourself... I assume you've been running Chapman rules and you've been wearing shorts since May. You're back in long trousers now. You've probably lost or burnt them all like I had. You're going to need to buy yourself a new pair of trousers. You can do that at weirdfromtheinternet.com/Amazon, as well as buying weighing scales. Weighing scales and trousers. It's the combination everyone always buys together.
If you're not using it yet, the Amazon link, I mean...
Which I'm not, because I'm not allowed to.
Then, come on.
I've just explained I'm not allowed to. If I do it, they don't pay us anyway, because they see the addresses match up.
Stick a little shortcut on your desktop.
It won't make any difference. I'm not allowed to use it.
You know, just go into weirdfromtheinternet.com/Amazon. I can't even speak.
Yeah, but doing that will get us banned from the affiliate program. I'm not allowed to do it.
But if the listener does it, sets up a little shortcut on their desktop so that every time they want Amazon, they just click that.
Okay.
And then it goes through there, then they'll just go straight to normal Amazon. We'll get...
As long as they're not getting anything sent to my house. If they're buying me a gift, they can't use our link.
It has to come to my house. Yeah. My address is all over the internet.
Exactly. So, if they're buying something for themselves, they can use the affiliate link that's now on a bookmark that they've just set up. If they're buying something for you... Is that okay? Are they allowed to do that?
Come to my house.
And if they're buying something for me, they just have to get it delivered to you, and then you promise you'll give it to me, won't you?
Promise, unless it's good.
Problem solved. And you can do all that at weirdfromtheinternet.com/Amazon. Hello, I'm Kev.
And I'm Steve.
And we're from the internet. And I don't know how I feel about you getting a behind-the-scenes look at what's happening to mine and Anna's weights, because...
I couldn't see yours. Yours is blocked.
How does that work?
I don't know. Yours is blank.
How have I got... Well, that's probably because I weigh so little these days that the machine can't tell I'm on it. It knows I'm there, but it can't pick up any weight. Or I've gone over the limit of it. I
reckon you've probably gone around it a few times and it's just not sure how many people are standing on it.
I used to like my mum and dad's old scales when I used to go back over there in my early 20s, and I used to stand on it. It'd tell me I was 3 stone 4 pounds or whatever it was. It was fantastic.
I stood on mine the other day for the first time in a while. I'm not going to tell you what it said, but I'm looking forward to the weigh-in.
Yeah.
Though I know now I said that.
You put on a couple of stone, have you?
I was nervous about that. I just kept thinking I've drank a lot of
I haven't dieted since the last time we did a weigh-in. I've been eating gluttonous food, like a glutton. I've had 9 fish fingers for tea today.
Why?
Because I like fish fingers.
But 9?
Yeah, well, you get a box they come in a box of 12 normally, but the box of 12 had 15 in, and Anna wanted 6. Well,
Why?
5. She wanted 4, and I said, you can't have 4, that means I've got to have 11. She said, okay, I'll have 5, so I gave her 6, and I had the other 9, because we had a box of 15.
3 are the normal.
No, they're not.
I'd have 3.
That's how many a child gets at McDonald's. That's a child's portion of fish fingers. You're a ridiculous moron.
Beans.
Why would you have beans with savoury food? I don't understand, you monsters. Oh, let's just sprinkle some sugar over our dinner. Beans and savoury foods should not mix. It's a dessert
beans
food.
Or sweet corn or peas or green beans.
All dessert foods. They belong with custard,
mushrooms.
not fish fingers. Well, you have mushrooms with chips now.
Yeah, why not?
Wrong with you.
Salad. I've been eating a lot of spinach.
What's wrong with you?
Tonight I had 2 steaks. 2 frying steaks, so thin. With a pile of carrots, peppers and spinach.
You sicken me.
It's beautiful. Loving it. I did also steal a tiny bit of pasta, like one chunk of pasta off my son's plate because he wasn't eating it, and I was trying to threaten him that...
Is that why there's pasta on my landing? Did you put that
Probably. There? And a small nugget of garlic bread for the same reason. It was more of it, if you don't eat your dinner, I'm going to eat it. And he just went, eat it. I was just like, I'm going to call you a bluff. And it didn't work. I ate it, he didn't eat it.
Next time you cook 2 steaks, you should offer me one. And I'll have it with my fish fingers. I'll have a Chapman surf and turf.
I need to have a chat with my wife because she's read up on the rules of this thing you were doing. We're not playing it as religiously as we could be. I mean, I've been having beer pretty much every day because I got a crate of beer from work as a present, and I want to get through it so I can stop having it at home.
I think that's the mantra of alcoholics, isn't it?
Well,
I need to get through it.
To get rid of it.
Yeah.
But she said, I'm going to make you some steaks for dinner. And then when this was last week, and when I got my dinner, it was basically 3 steaks.
See, straight away,
I thought
at that point, when she said, I'm going to make you some steaks for dinner, you should have stopped saying, whoa, Mrs. Sheepdog, did you say some steaks? That's not a normal portion of food for anybody. You talked to me about having a couple of extra fish fingers. You had 3 steaks for dinner.
That was the other week. I had to have a word. She did 2 today because they were smaller ones, but I still think 1's enough. I could have had more veg. But lunch and breakfast have been really good as well. I've been having me salad. No, sometimes an egg salad now because it's just the easiest option. 1 egg and a load of salad. It's like 200 calories. I nearly died on my way home the other day. I was so hungry.
Well, you're not supposed to be hungry on paleo. That's the whole point. You're supposed to eat so much that you don't get hungry. I kind of didn't do it right that day. I kind of had a really small breakfast where I shouldn't have. I didn't have time for a proper one. With me yogurt. Normally I have yogurt with blueberries and a bit of honey in it. And I had just yogurt with a bit of honey in it because we ran out of blueberries. So I missed out on a good 150 calories. And then later in the day, I had even less for lunch. And then by the time I was walking home and I thought, if I don't get through the door now, I'm just going to die in the street and no one's going to find me. But yeah, I made it home. I've discovered mini malt loaf bars, so I eat 8 or 9 of them a day now. I love it when you start breaking and just end up 30 stone. It's just hilarious. Well, the thing is, you know, Eurogamer Expo's on the horizon, I'll eat then. Play Expo's on the horizon, I'll eat then. And then Christmas is coming, I'll eat then. And by then, it's winter. I'm going to be wearing woolly jumpers. No one will know. So I'm in the, and then it's Easter. So I'm pretty much in the clear until mid-July next year. And then I'll diet for a couple of weeks again. What frustrates me is that up to Christmas last year, I'd been so stressed out with my old job and everything that I'd lost quite a lot of weight through just stress and being ill. And, Christmas hit. And I ate so much that by January I'd put on like 3 stone. That's ridiculous. Not possible. You can't put on 3 stone. No, honestly, I'd put on so much weight. He says before the weigh-in, help. Yeah. So, this year I'm sort of thinking, well, I'm quite happy. I'm quite settled. I'm kind of just getting on with it. I'm being rather successful and I'm a bit worried that I won't have the sheer, well, actually, to be fair, we were talking about the old Fitbit logging and all of that. I think I mentioned to you previously that I've not been getting enough sleep lately. I believe, which I'm going to discuss with you in a minute, actually. You owe the public an apology. Yeah, I believe it reached such a point that I fell asleep on our last show. You fell asleep approximately halfway through. Have you listened back to that show? I haven't. You should have a listen back because you did start snoring at one point. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. But yeah, I would say it was an hour and 15, hour and 20-minute show. You were asleep for at least the last half an hour of that show. And it woke me up. I think me and Anna, we did once, but you went back to sleep. I think we've discovered that, you know, in October when you die, we probably don't need to replace you. I think we can carry that show by ourselves. I came out of my shell a little bit. I wasn't the shrinking violet I normally am. And, we did okay. So, I mean, to be honest, if you want to go to sleep now for 45 minutes, I'll just have a chat with the listeners, discuss what presents they're going to send to me via your house. Well, I reckon the old weight loss is going to go a bit better. Well, it could go either way, to be honest, with this. My average sleep time for this week is 3 hours, 57 minutes a night. How is that possible? What time do you go to bed? Depends on the night. Well, that's straight away a poor sleep pattern. You should be going to bed at the same time every night and getting up at the same time every morning. Well, actually, according to this, unless I've sorted this out wrong, I think it's counting. Actually, I don't know. I tried to go to bed about 10:30, but I know that I wasn't asleep at about 12, so I've put in 12 every night pretty much. Because you have to log it the next day, don't you?
and it tells you how active you were in the night. And every
on the
night it's
Fitbit, you can just do the triple tap on it when you're going to sleep, and then triple tap when you wake up, and it tracks it for you. You don't need your phone doesn't need to be involved apart from the syncing. You can just triple tap the bracelet.
I shall try that tonight. If it doesn't work, I can just use my phone.
Exactly.
But, yeah, every night. I mean, I'm so bloody tired at the moment. I reckon that'll keep a few pounds off for a
Perhaps
while.
what you should do is just try staying up until 2 and then going to bed. Because if you're only sleeping for 4 hours anyway, why don't you just stay up until 4 hours before you need to get up? And then you'll be really tired.
That'd be perfect, wouldn't it?
We'll do that.
A 3 or 4 hour solid sleep.
Yeah, just do that. So we'll do it one night. Do it at the weekend. See what happens. Friday night, just stay up until 2. Set your alarm for normal work time. And just see what happens. You might find that you sleep solidly all the way through, and you might train yourself into sleeping solidly, and then you can gradually start going to bed half an hour earlier, edging back to the point where you're perhaps going to bed at 12, half 12, getting 5.5, 6 hours of sleep a night, and you feel fine. Because I only get about 5.5, 6 hours sleep a night. I usually go to bed around midnight-ish.
Is that solidly logged sleep? Like,
I don't know. I don't log it. I don't feel tired. I go to bed about midnight. My alarm varies between 5 and 6 in the morning.
I only got the Fitbit because I was so tired, and my wife kept saying, "Oh, but you sleep 8 hours a day," and I was like, "I really don't. I know that I'm awake at these times." And then when the log showed the exact same thing, I was like, "Ha, see?" And she was like, "Are you sure you're not just thinking you're tired because of the log?" And I was like, "No, I've been telling you for months that I wake every hour pretty much. It's ridiculous."
Stay up until 2 tonight, and then set your alarm for 6.
Die.
You won't. You're not going to get any less sleep, surely. If you're in bed for, 10:30 until, what time did you set your alarm for?
6.
So if you're in bed for, 7.5 hours, and you're only asleep for half that time, you must be going mental for the other half of the night.
Just roll around a lot. It's mad.
Just get up.
Just orbit the bed.
If I ever wake up in the night, which is very rare, but if I ever do, I just get up and go downstairs.
Last night I wandered around the upstairs of my house. I shut my daughter's door to try and block out the light from her room because she sleeps with the light on like very low. I was blocking this light that was flashing in the corner. I was just walking around covering every possible light source in the hope that I'd black out the room a little bit. But once I'd done that, I felt a bit mental.
You are a bit mental.
Just sort of went off on one.
Just go downstairs, play a game for an hour. You'll fall asleep with the controller in your hand. You've not lost any sleep because you would have been tossing and turning for that hour anyway. Boom. I am the sleep doctor. That's what they should call me.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. Sleep doctor. No, sleep doctor.
All right, sleep doctor.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Sleep doctor. Thank you.
Sleep man, that rhymes then.
Yeah. Talking of names that begin with sleep, have you bought yourself a Sleep Dog t-shirt yet?
I haven't. I did like that you leapt straight on an opportunity to market it.
Yeah, no one's bought any of those t-shirts. Even though they're only $7.99, we're not making any money on them. They're just for my own amusement. You can get, I need to find a link where you can get those t-shirts, but I know they're on our Twitter. But by the time this show comes out, they'll be at weirfromtheinternet.com/sleepdog. That's sleep dog, all one word. And it's a t-shirt that's a photograph of him asleep on last week's Mature Gamer podcast with microphone in hand and coat on, for anyone who doesn't believe that he still podcasts wearing a coat in August. He really does. He's fast asleep. It says the sleep dog at the top, and then sleeping dog, let sleeping dogs lie at the bottom. And
no one would ever want to. I know that it's not really there as a fashion statement, but no one would ever want to wear or buy that top.
I think anyone who's coming to any of the expos later in the year and is looking to me, as I've already said, anyone who walks up to us at an expo wearing a sleep dog t-shirt, we will instantly on the spot buy them a beer. So, you know, if you think of it that way, if you're coming to one of the expos and you plan to meet up with us anyway, especially if it's going to be somewhere where beers are expensive. I mean, we've not got one in London this year, but, you know, Manchester's quite expensive for the old beer, isn't it? If you're thinking, what, £3-4 a pint? You've got to buy a t-shirt for £7.99, but it's effectively only £4. So you're getting a gag on your chest for £4. You're having a beer you would have had anyway. I can't think of any deal in the history of the world that's been better than that.
That's such a that's not a good deal, but go on.
It is a good deal. It's an £8 t-shirt that comes with a free beer.
Yeah, fair enough.
should work on a market. Can you sell t-shirts in the market offering free beer?
Or you could get an £8 beer that comes with a bad t-shirt. That's awful.
Well, then that's fine. That's what beer costs in London anyway, and it rarely comes with a t-shirt. It's a good t-shirt. You can also buy We're from the Internet t-shirts.
Can you really? Do they look as bad as the Mature Gamer ones?
No, they're just yellow t-shirts with the We're from the Internet logo on. And they'll be available from we'refromtheinternet.com/shirt. And yeah, they're $9.99 because, you know, like a couple of quid. Stick it in the old back pocket. Stick it towards some Red Bull for the next time we do a podcast, so that old sleep dog over there can stay awake. I mean, it was 10:10 when he fell asleep as well. That was the most fantastic part about it.
It was a combination of I'd had about 6 pints, I'd had a large pizza to myself, and I hadn't had any sleep. I'd like 3 hours sleep that night.
Right. Perhaps I shouldn't just be the sleep doctor. Perhaps I might just become a life coach. Because let me offer you a couple of tips there. If you're not sleeping much, or just if you plan on being alive. I know you already know you're going to die in, 5 weeks now? Mm-hmm. But if you were planning on living a long and happy life, don't ever have 6 beers. Just 6 beers, that's too many beers.
Right?
Yeah, it's too many beers. You
sober.
never really need to have more than 1 or 2 beers. There's never a situation where 6 beers is necessary. So don't have 6 beers. Don't have a whole pizza either. You could have got away with a couple of slices of pizza.
I couldn't have bought a couple. Well, I could have bought a small. Actually, no, they were all 10 quid. It was bizarre.
Yeah, but you didn't have to eat it all.
But I was the only one with it. So.
And certainly don't combine huge, stodgy amounts of food with large amounts of a sedative when you've not slept and you know you've got to stay up for a couple of hours to entertain the masses.
Funnily enough, I haven't slept in about 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't think I was going to start sleeping in the middle of a bloody podcast, did I?
Did it track on your Fitbit? Did you make sure you put time started sleeping 9:30 so it tracked those hours as well?
Look, actually, yeah.
Because otherwise that doesn't count towards your total that you claim. It's not including all your naps that you have throughout the day.
But Anna did text me saying, how many hours sleep did you get yesterday? And I said 3. And she was like, plus the half-hour hours.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm impressed you didn't draw on me.
Well, it was suggested, and I did have a permanent marker, but I didn't want you to hit me. If someone drew on me while I was sleeping, I'd hit them.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
So
yeah.
You were moments away from a Hitler mustache, but I don't know. I grew a conscience. How many more or less Sleep Dog t-shirts do you think we'd sell if you had a Hitler mustache in it? Because I could probably I could Photoshop that in if need be.
What I find really bizarre about it is I don't remember going to sleep, obviously. I don't remember being woken up in between. I just kind of remember we were doing the podcast and then I just woke up. I just opened my eyes and looked at you and I was just like, what? And you were like, yeah, we finished the podcast. You've been asleep for about half an hour. And I just kind of thought, what? And then you were like, let's go home, and just took me home. And I was just like, right.
I said, let's get you home.
Get you home.
Yeah, me and him don't live together. We don't come over to Anna's house and then go back to our place afterwards.
Not until she kicks you out. And Claire kicks me out.
What, then we're going to get a house together?
I assume you'd try and live with me.
I'm not sure I would. I think I'd probably go and live in a bus shelter. Or I'd just sleep at work. I've got a cupboard now. Never had a cupboard before.
I've got a really long
cupboard
desk I could sleep on, to be fair.
I've got round the whole system of schools not liking me. I have my posh scarf hung up on the wall. I've hung it up inside my cupboard. So now, when I want to see posh, I can open up the cupboard. Posh scarf, then close the cupboard again, lock the door. Bob's your uncle.
I'm starting to feel tired again. I reckon it's when you talk. Maybe you should do a tape and I'll just listen to that. I can listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you need to hear me talking, I don't know that you need me to record a cassette for you. There are hundreds of hours of me talking on the internet. There's a whole 24-hour show that we did once where I fell asleep several times during it. So
did you fall asleep in that?
We all fell asleep
I stayed awake the whole way through that. Non-stop.
I'm not sure you did.
I definitely did.
I had a couple of hours nap every 2 or 3 hours. Listen to it back. Have you ever listened to it back?
Only little bits of it.
Listen to the whole thing.
We need to do another
24-hour
show.
No, we don't.
You
can't manage a 90-minute show now. We're not doing a 24-hour one.
Once I've gone full insomniac, because that's the worst thing as well, right? When I started tracking it, I had 8 hours on there, and that has slowly whittled down. It went 8, 5, 4, it's 4.5.
What? So
it's
started to get worse since you've been tracking it.
Pretty much. No, not like constantly tracking it.
Because you're stressing out about it. So I can't sleep now. Stressing out about not sleeping. Let's lie awake, stressing about not sleeping. That's the insomniac's curse, isn't it? Lying there wishing you were asleep.
Well, to be fair, the top one, the 8-hour one, was I went to bed at 10 and I woke up about 11:30 the next day. But I'd had something like, it was about 8 hours sleep in that time. So it was still bad. I just managed to tack another what would it have been? 5 hours sleep on the end of my normal routine.
Go to bed at 2 o'clock tonight. Stay up for the next 4 or 5 hours.
No, I've got to perform at work tomorrow.
You're not going to get any less sleep by staying up until 2. You could think of all the gaming you could do. Think of all the wrestling you could watch. You could get your 1 month trial of WWE Network. You could watch an old school WrestleMania before you went to sleep tonight. I'm watching WrestleMania 3 at the moment. You could watch that.
No,
Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant are in it.
Pointless.
Andre the Giant. That man can't even fall over. It's weird watching it. You remember Andre the Giant from when you were a kid?
I have only seen a picture of him standing next to Arnie.
I always assumed he was a proper wrestler, and I remember him as a proper wrestler. But from watching this old stuff, he doesn't even fall over. He can't even walk properly. All he does is sort of hobble around the ring, people bounce off him, and he never goes down on the floor ever, because he can't get up again. It's quite scary looking at this really poorly man having people hit him, and then he died.
What, in the ring?
No, he just... Because he had that thing where you keep growing, and everything keeps growing, and it got too big for his heart or something. He just had a heart attack in a bar.
Wow, bloody hell.
But yeah, he shouldn't have been doing that.
What, growing?
No, he shouldn't have been. Well, yeah, you can stop it now. You hear about it all the time with basketball players, and some of the big wrestlers now have had it, but it's curable. You can stop the process now.
At what point would you stop?
Well, there's one who does it now who's about 7 feet tall and just ridiculous. So yeah, I think
let your heart get a bit bigger.
I think 7 feet tall. I reckon anyone who's 7 feet tall could probably have a basketball career that would earn the millions. So yeah, I'd stop at 7 feet.
Wouldn't you try and go to 10?
You think you'd die before you got there?
Hey, just make sure.
Andre the Giant wasn't much over 7 feet.
If you just had like all the top heart doctors watching over you.
How tall's Hagrid?
I don't know. I've not measured him lately.
I'd want to be Hagrid size.
Let's say 11 foot.
He's not 11 feet tall. Harry Potter's up to his waist.
Harry Potter was like 9 foot tall.
No, he was about 4 feet tall. Hagrid's
His
7 or 8 feet
Hogwarts
tall.
Today.
What?
Harry Potter's son.
What about him?
I just saw a message earlier on Twitter that his son had started Hogwarts.
It's not real.
J.K. Rowling tweeted it.
She slipped into insanity.
She was just like, oh, I'm not at, can somebody at King's Cross wish whatever Harry's son's name is, good luck. It's his first day at Hogwarts today. And then that afternoon she tweeted out something like, he's been to the Sorting Hat, and of course he's in Gryffindor. So-and-so from this other house is very disappointed. And I did sit there just thinking...
Is there another book coming? Is that what...
That's what I thought.
It can only be promotion
She started
for
the hashtag
book,
return
surely.
to Hogwarts, and I thought, oh, here we go. But,
So is that... So he's 11. So that means the last book was out 2004. That can't be right, can it?
I don't know. No idea.
11 years ago.
Can't be right, can it? I'm sure
And in actual fact...
No, I knew my wife when the book came out.
Harry Potter hadn't knocked the girl up already at the end of that last book.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't set in that time. Maybe it was set earlier.
So the first one was out in like 97, 98. I suppose we go 5 years from then, and it actually all wrapped up in
2001. Is that 2002?
Yeah, so it still doesn't feel quite right. I think Harry needs to get his act together. You can tell there was a knock at the door then, and then we stopped, because I don't really know what I meant by that.
Well, I think you're kind of saying...
Sort your time travel out, man.
No, I think what you mean is the guy has just left, sixth form, shall we say, at Hogwarts?
Well, he didn't even finish it, did he? So he was a dropout. He's not actually finished his A-levels yet.
So he dropped out of...
he should really be focusing on finishing, getting some qualifications so he can go to Wizard University at some point. But in actual fact, he's knocking up his mate's little sister. So she's only like 14 still.
By the maths there, though, I guess if the kid's 11 starting school,
yeah,
then, and we're saying 2002,
yeah,
so 2004 would have been when they'd done the deed that the kid was born. Sorry, so
and
maybe
she would have only been 16 or 17 then.
Yeah, so she's probably cocked up her GCSEs.
Yeah,
Harry's messed up his A levels. But it depends though. The Weasleys are quite a nice family. They'd have probably looked after him.
She still shouldn't have been getting up to no good with Harry Potter at that age.
Well, it's Harry Potter, isn't it? You kind of trust him. He saved the world. So I imagine...
That's probably the line he used on her. That's how they ended up together.
But the Weasleys
did they ever get together in the books, or was it just hinted they might get together?
Yeah, they got together, and they kissed. But then No, I reckon they probably said, like, oh, you know, let's live in the same dorms, and then one thing led to another, and then, oh, Mum, I'm pregnant. Oh, we'll bring the kid here. You know, we'll have to raise it while you go through your school. Because it looked like...
And that's why old man Weasley's now presenting the Link on ITV, because he needs the cash to pay for the baby.
But he was head of the Ministry of Magic, wasn't he? Or
yeah, but he lost that job. But he's presenting the Link now.
Mm.
By the way, is one of the best daytime quiz shows around. I've been really getting into that over my 6 weeks off.
Don't even know what it is, but I'm
called
still
The Link.
riffing about Ron and Hermione as well here. I'm thinking they'd have been supportive. You go through saving the world with someone.
Oh, their kids were about the same age, weren't they? So
Jesus, they
and Hermione's a sensible girl. What's she doing being a statistic?
Yeah.
You never would have put her down as a teenage pregnancy. It makes me think that Ron might have forced himself on her.
The length of the last film, though, I'm thinking, again, maybe it started earlier than 19.
Is that what happened between the two parts of the
Deathly Hallows
film? Yeah, they did the first part of the film, then they all went away and started touching each other's rude parts, then they came back, did the other half. That might be why they needed a break to keep it PG. Well, we can't.
Maybe Ron was the prisoner.
They originally made a 5 hour movie with a massive 4-way orgy in the middle, and thought, oh, we can't release this. Cut the sex scene out. Make it 2 separate movies. We'll probably make more money that way anyway.
So anyway, it's going to work.
Yeah. The uncut version will come out. That's what she's promoting. It's not a book. It's the uncut 5-hour version of the Deathly Hallows with the sex scene.
Ma Weasley, though, must have been in hell or heaven. It depends what kind of grandma she is. But if she had the Potter kids and the Potter grandkids and the Weasley grandkids all in at the same time, I mean, and, you know, the 4 of them just kind of not paying any rent, I imagine, because they're at school. She's probably got grey hairs now.
Well, they've probably got spare space. One of the twins is dead, isn't he? So.
Oh, yeah, his room. I forget. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he'd have moved out. He runs a shop, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Could he have run it on his own now his brother's dead?
I'm sure he could have used magic.
Perhaps the shop's gone to ruin and...
Suicide, you're saying, and then...
Could be. Perhaps Ron and Ginny are actually, by default, become model children, even though they were both...
Yeah, that's another thing, actually. When your son gets lost in a war against the you know, evil wizard overlord, you kind of... the rest of your kids can't do no wrong, can they, really?
No.
So they probably get away with murder. That's probably it. She got so depressed, she didn't have time for Ron, and... What's her name? Ginny. So they probably went off the rails a bit. She got on the booze, her husband went off to present...
What, Ginny or the mum? Husband's presenting daytime quiz shows.
So...
He's put on a lot of weight as well. He's got a lot of chin now.
They're probably got into a lot of drugs then.
Well, normally the opposite happens with drugs, doesn't it? Are you confusing drugs with cake again?
No, I meant the kids.
What, you think these are smack babies?
Smack babies, you know, boozy one-night stands, or with their partners, so not really one-night stands. I'm just saying, they probably wouldn't...
Well, we assume they're with their partners.
Well, yeah.
Have they been on Jeremy Kyle, the only place you can get a reliable DNA test from?
But a kid had round glasses, didn't he?
You can buy them at the Harry Potter gift shop. Like if you were Ginny and you'd been sleeping around, the first thing you'd do is go to the Harry Potter gift shop and buy a box load of them glasses just in case.
Dye his hair brown and goons
exactly.
Glasses.
Scratch his head with a pair of compasses to put a thing in his head.
His entire bloodline are all dead anyway. He doesn't know what his DNA's like. He can't get a test done. They'll just say, oh, it doesn't match yours, Harry, but it doesn't mean anything really. It could be your mum's DNA and she's dead.
We don't do the dead mum gag. That's just cruel. You can't. Oops. Poor old Harry. He's probably torn up.
But that's it again. That's more reason to believe that he's probably gone off the rails and become a statistic like you did.
Yeah. I wonder what he does for a living. Was it ever established what he does for a living?
He had a briefcase.
Well, I had a briefcase when I was about 19.
which is his age.
Exactly. When I got my first job in a building society, bearing in mind I was just a cashier in a building society, and I lived in a flat 45 seconds walk from the building society I worked in. You could throw a stone from my desk to my bedroom, probably. And I used to get up in the morning, pack my briefcase. I'd come home for lunch, there'd be nothing in it. I'd just carry my briefcase into work, sit down.
Why are you packing it daily then?
Well, there was nothing in it. At home, as I was leaving in the morning, I'd just close my briefcase, clip it up, make sure to change the combination on it, so if anyone took it, they couldn't get into it. Walk into work, put it down, open it up, pretend to rummage around inside, close it up again, put it under my desk. But I'd put it slightly under my desk, but slightly back, so customers coming in could see that I had a briefcase, and I'm pretty
I've
sure
never
that
even seen the briefcase in the flesh.
I think that's how I rose so quickly within that organisation. I was the one with the briefcase. It's a proper hard briefcase as well. None of this soft leather pansy stuff that you get these days. It's a proper hard briefcase.
I've never seen one.
And it had an extending bit inside as well, so if I did need to put a lot of stuff in it, there were little clips you could undo inside to make it extend a little bit, like those caravans.
I imagine, knowing you as well as I do, that you probably spent 800 quid on it. And
yeah, it was 40 or 50 quid probably. It was a nice briefcase. It was from Argos. This was before I had such extravagant tastes.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Got you
I
by.
don't have a briefcase anymore.
Did we have a topic this week?
Yeah, briefcases. Briefcases and Harry Potter. No, the topic is, it's the New Year. Happy New Year.
It's called New Year Steve.
No, it's not. It's
New Year Steve.
The New Year, as everybody knows, measuring the years the way the traditional calendar does is stupid. We've talked about this before. There's no logical reason to do it. You should actually... Every year should be named using the naming convention of the football season or the school term or however you want to call it. So 1st of September, which was yesterday as we're recording, marks the start of 2015-16.
Yep. That's exactly how
everything starts yesterday. So I went back to work yesterday, start of a new school year. It's just, the football season's just starting. Even stuff like TV shows are all starting to come back. We had the premiere of Fear the Walking Dead this week that we'll have a chat about in a little while. All the new games are starting to come out. We've got the Gaming Expo starting after the summer drought.
My wife's just started a job.
Exactly. Everything happens now. Why do people insist on January being the start of the new year? There's no logical reason for it. The year starts in September.
In my head, the reason we started talking about this was because I turn, my birthday is at the end of August, so in my head, I'm always like, right, that's year 29 done with, now for year 30, and I just so happened to start the football season, start school, start whatever. I mean, this time last year, I was finishing a job and starting another one, and that sort of thing. This is New Year's Eve, and it always starts now, no matter what, every year.
It's just a new year. We don't need that S word at the end of it.
It's just good. So yeah, what's your plans for 15-16?
I don't know, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the year I take over the world. I've had this funny feeling in my waters for quite some time, that the 7, I don't know where this came from, the 7 years that start from the first New Year's after the age of 33, it's a very specific fantasy that I've had, so... From yesterday, the 7 years starting yesterday, I just have this feeling that I've had for a couple of years that that's going to be when things happen for me. Over the course of the next 7 years, in 7 years' time when I look back, so when I'm 40 and looking at the new year in early September, aged 40, 41, whatever it is in 7... How old will I be in 7 years? 40. So when I'm looking at this, aged 40 in 7 years' time... Whatever I've done, that's it now. I've reached the pinnacle.
Really bizarre?
Nothing gets better from that point on.
It's really bizarre that I had a similar thought, but 30. In my 30s were going to be my decade of bang, that's done. And part of my thought process there, I mean, it's always been that way, but more recently, it's been, look, we've been doing a lot of stuff for a lot of time, but I'm quite good at my current job, and, you know,
You're the best bin man in the East,
I don't feel the need to... I mean, every other job I've ever had, I've always thought, I wonder what I'll do next, that sort of thing. Whereas here I'm thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to just try and beat that, and next year I'll try and beat it.
One day they'll let me drive the bin truck.
Exactly. And, you know, and I kind of, I'm suggesting things or talking about things, and I often have to say, I don't mean to get above myself, I'm just making a suggestion. It's like, I need to pipe down a bit because I'm not important there.
One day they will let you choose which stuffed toy to put on the front of the van, though,
exactly.
Don't worry.
But, no, it's cool because I just think that's sorted. I'm thinking, I've got my driving test at the end of the month. I won't pass, but I will pass in the next 10 years. Is it fifth time yet? No, it's my first time.
See, no, all the best people pass fifth time.
Exactly.
That's the rule.
But I know that I will have passed within the next 10 years. I want to buy a house in the next 2 years. I'll probably have that done in the next decade. So
let's not be too specific with our goals. I want to buy one in the next 2 years. So within 10 years, I'll probably have done it.
Yeah, that's it. I've started to think, like, whilst work is going swimmingly well and I'm happy there, at the same time I want to get better in the hobby stuff that we do and the Stephen media stuff we do. So the only I sat there for bloody... I mean, I kept going on about I want to do something. We talked about it the other week with my Moni entrepreneurial episode.
That one was brilliant. We all enjoyed that.
Yeah, but I got a LinkedIn account for Stephen Media as Steve Bass.
Oh, for goodness sake, here we go again. Businessman sheepdog.
And I've added something like 200 connections.
Connections. You've learned to pronounce it properly, finally, as well.
No, I'm planning on just collecting people on there until I've stumbled across someone who just goes, you there, you look like a man who could do with
you look like a man.
You know, an extra leg up in the old media establishment.
You look like a man with an extra leg.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting for that now. Just going to keep adding people until somebody just says, here's some funding.
No, I've decided 7 years' time I'm going to start winding down. My goal is not necessarily retire by 40, but once I hit 40, whatever I've achieved by then, I'm just going to be satisfied with what I've got. So whatever job I'm doing in 7 years' time, wherever I'm living, whatever car I'm driving, whatever I spend my free time doing, whatever I do for holidays, anything, whatever trousers I choose, whether I'm a corduroy man or a jeans man or a shorts man, who cares? Wherever I am, on the 1st of September 2022, that's it for the rest of my life. No more. I'm not going to make any more decisions after then.
That makes more sense. I just want it to be a sustainable thing then. That's just, I get to that point. That was my plan, was my 30s about are all, because I've built myself up to this point now where I've got my family and we're sorting stuff out. We're pretty much to the point where everything's above water and it's just a matter of topping it up until I'm just coasting through to retirement, and then I'll just wait for death. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm thinking 10 years is a good enough time to build that nut, as they call it in America, and then job's done.
What are you saying?
They call it building your nut, don't they?
No.
Yes, they do.
Who calls it that?
Americans.
What Americans?
Americans on the League.
This one niche show that only you have watched.
Yeah. They built their nut on that. He made $1 million, built his nut, retired. Job done.
So this one guy refers to it as this one thing, and you think that's what the whole of America calls it? No, they keep referencing it
as building his nut.
On this one show?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a saying, to be honest.
Probably his saying. It's his quirk. Everyone laughs about it.
It's a squirrel thing. I think it's just like being a squirrel who collects nuts up for...
a squirrel is going to need more than one nut, I think you'll find.
What about the squirrel from the Ice Age, who spends something like 40,000 years chasing the same nut? I
always assumed that he always found it off camera, and then it was always a different one, because he'd die otherwise.
No. It's the same one, same colour and everything.
But they're acorns. They are all the same colour.
Not this one. Plus, it's like, it's a character in its own right. It's like the Roadrunner. If it went meh meh, it'd be exactly the same thing.
I don't really understand you sometimes.
Oh, because it's just, he's trying to eat it all the time. It's always outfoxing him.
I don't think Wile E. Coyote wanted to eat the Roadrunner. I think he just wanted to catch him for the sport.
No,
it was an athletic competition.
Did you mean to lean over and squirt your thumb on a bug?
No, did I do that? Yeah. Fantastic.
I was like watching your hand go at the wall, and then you just put your thumb square on this poor little bug, and now it's gone. So I don't know whether you just squished it onto the floor or what.
Killed a bug.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I think Wile E. Coyote was just all about the sport, and he was just getting ready for whatever he was going to eat afterwards. His 2 steaks that Mrs. Coyote was going to make him because he was on a diet.
Why did he look at the Roadrunner sometimes and just see a cooked bird?
Because he was thinking, once I've beaten this Roadrunner in an athletic pursuit, I can then eat a cooked bird, unrelated to this bird, because this bird is all sinewy and muscly. I don't want to eat that. I want to eat a big fat one that's lived its whole life in a cage and can't stand up properly.
I was thinking the other day, do you think there'd be much mileage in a TV show where each episode, each week, is a guest show from a series or cartoon or whatever? So, like, one week it could be the Warner Brothers week, where basically Elmer Fudd kills Bugs Bunny and, you know, the Coyote wins and Tom eats Jerry and so on. I know that he's not Warner Brothers.
What are you talking about?
Just having, like, an adult's version of all the cartoons where the bad guys win. Just because it'd be a weekly kind of funny thing, just watching it all go wrong. I don't know, I was thinking about it the other day when I was watching something and just thought, God, I wish they'd lose. Can't remember who it was now. Let's just say it was Jerry from Tom and Jerry. It wasn't, but I was watching it and just thinking, Tom deserves to win at least once. Let's just kill Jerry once and for all. I've suddenly thought that'd be a great little thing for people to just do shows. It's things like where The Simpsons actually win for once, because they always lose because Lisa ruins it. It's probably that what I was watching.
Nobody's made a new Tom and Jerry cartoon in about 100 years, have they?
They make them all the time. They always try and reboot that.
Nonsense.
You just need to watch the right dodgy cartoon channels.
Well, why would Tom and Jerry be on dodgy channels? Why wouldn't it be on BBC
I don't mean
just
like
after
porn.
Grandstand?
Just mean
Yeah,
like
but it should be on the
Boomerang or
BBC
something.
between Grandstand and Dad's Army. That's when Tom
they
and
can't
Jerry's
afford
on.
Tom and Jerry now. They're on like Cartoon Network. Whatever.
Stupid world. My kids will have never seen a Tom and Jerry cartoon in their lives. They wouldn't know what it was if you said it to them.
They're far too violent. My kids have seen them, and I just sat there cringing, thinking I can't remember it being this violent. Even though sometimes I knew what was going to happen because I remembered them from watching them 100 times as a kid.
Interesting. So, what was... Here you go, I've got some more New Year's questions. Obviously, we're going to review the year that has just been. That was a bottle of water falling on the floor, for those of you who can hear supersonic soundness. What was the best TV show of 2014-15? The annual Steve Awards ceremonies.
Daredevil.
Okay, what was the... I only watched one episode of that and got bored, by the way.
You're a damn fool.
He didn't wear the proper outfit, and...
He does
boring.
eventually.
Yeah, but not in the first episode.
No, it was a great
Therefore,
series.
boring. These TV shows need to grab me.
Did you
early
know
on.
they're doing, because they've done Daredevil and it was so successful because it was such a great program, they're doing 3 other probably great programs in the Marvel Universe, and then they're doing The Defenders, a Marvel crossover made for Netflix film. For the 4 characters they've got. And
What are the other 3?
Luke something or other. A
Luke,
girl.
I can't remember his
Cage.
name, yeah.
Jessica something?
Rabbit.
No, I think it was Jessica. Anyway.
Rabbit.
And then, God, I can't remember the other guy. It's like Death something or other. Don't know.
Splendid.
But yeah, they all sounded cool. They're all coming out this year and early next, and they're doing a crossover. The point is, they're doing like exactly the same as the movies did, introducing 4 characters in their own right, and then doing a crossover, and then they'll carry on with the next seasons, and I think that's superb.
It's very similar to what DC are doing with Arrow and Flash.
The reverse Flash being the new enemy in Flash season, whatever.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's wonderful.
DC sucks.
I ordered some new mugs this week for work. But in fact, I bought 3 mugs off Amazon in the last week. I ordered a Skyrim one purely because I wanted to be able to walk around work telling people I was rimming.
You'll get the sack. You work in
Well,
a
no,
school.
I won't get the choice to get the sack because I got to work yesterday, got it out of my bag, undid the box that it came in, and it flew up in the air and shattered into more pieces than you've ever seen a cup shatter in the history of the world. It was like dust. I will show you it on the way out. I brought it home with me because I brought it home to our scanner if I'd get away with sending it back.
I would. Did I tell you I broke...
It's cup dust.
Yeah, I got an iPad case for my birthday. When I opened the box, I grabbed what I thought was the flap on the cover, pulled it, I was like, it's stuck! Yanked it really hard, and then thought, I don't understand how this works, and I just stuck my iPad in the case part of it and left the leathery part on the side, and my wife was like, it's all cracked, what's wrong with it? So I sent it back, and then when the next one arrived, I did the exact same thing. And then whilst I was putting it together again, thinking, what a load of rubbish, I realised the reason it was cracked is because I'd been yanking it apart, and if I just undid this thing and undid it, it opened out in like a nice little book, and I could place the iPad in the middle and it all come closed over it.
So when's the 3rd one coming?
No, I managed to fix this one because I hadn't yanked it and snapped it, I just yanked it apart. So I think they'll accept your dust cup.
Yeah, so no rimming at work for me, unfortunately. But I then went back on there and thought, well, no, I'm not going to get another Skyrim cup. I've been there, done that. That gag is old now. I explained the gag to everybody, even though I put the cup away and brought it home. So the gag is out there now. I can't then walk into a room with a hot steaming cup of rim juice next week.
Stop it. It's awful.
It's not. It's fantastic. So I went back onto Amazon and got a Green Arrow mug and a Flash mug, and I'm going to get them both, and I'm going to have one for tea, one for coffee. Obviously, Green Arrow is for coffee, and the Flash is for tea.
Why?
Because Green Arrow is the superior superhero, and I drink more coffee than I drink tea. I only drink tea during the Twindo, as you're well aware.
Green Arrow, tea, and then the Flash, because the coffee makes you go faster.
I don't follow your logic.
Is my Peterborough United mug still at that school?
I haven't seen it.
Can you have a look for it?
When I was rummaging, because after I smashed my Skyrim mug, I had to look for another mug to use. as a temporary solution. And if I'd have noticed a posh mug, I would have had it.
It was
and
an
it
old
would have been
blue
my
one,
mug.
dark
Yeah,
blue.
it would have been mine.
Can you hunt around the school for me?
No.
Genuinely, it's my wife's, and she got really upset when I left it there.
Well, perhaps you should go back and get it yourself.
Well, I can't.
Where did you leave it?
There. In the old office they used to have. I don't know if it's still the office.
Yeah, the same place I was looking for a cup yesterday.
Oh, hunt round the...
It wasn't there.
Cupboards.
I've just explained I've already done that, looking for a mug,
Go
and
to
it
the
wasn't
kitchen
there.
at the school and just see if it's in the kitchen.
I don't even know where that is. I didn't know I'm not aware that they have a kitchen.
Well, you have meetings. It's by the staff room. It is the staff
that's a
room.
long way to
There's a
go.
kitchen there.
I'm not going up there.
Anyway,
It's
we
a
can
long way
probably
to
do this
go.
off air.
We won't though. That's
More
it
questions.
done now. Right, what was what have I done? Best movie of 2014-15? Because I haven't seen any that actually came out this year.
People don't really agree, but I really like the Avengers film that came out.
I haven't seen that yet.
I really liked it. I'm trying to think what else I've seen. Seen the Minions film, that was alright.
No, it wasn't. That's one of the few I have seen, and that was a bit rubbish.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was alright for a kid's film. I wouldn't say it was the best film. I'm trying to think what else has been out. I saw Terminator Genesis, that was alright. Has there been a Hunger Games
Was
film
Phil
this year?
Collins in Terminator Genesis, by the way? No?
Don't get it.
Our older listeners will understand.
I'm trying to think what else I've seen. I watched this film with Simon Pegg in it on Netflix the other day. I've probably mentioned it before, I think. It's something about happiness. He was trying to figure out what happiness was, and he travelled the world and had a laugh, and it was a really good film. I don't know if that's out this year, and that's new.
Probably
on
not
Netflix.
if it's on Netflix.
Well, no, it could have been made for Netflix, because I don't think it was anything famous. It was like Hubert finds happiness, something like that.
See, I had a list of these questions, but I'm conscious of the time, and I don't want to ask you a gaming one. So you can choose. You can choose between best book of 2014-15, best comic book of 2014-15, or best moment of 2014-15. You can only answer one of those questions, though.
Well, that's hard. I can't think of any moments.
Well, then
Are you up to date on helping you segue a bit? The Walking Dead comics got amazingly.
See, I went and bought the trade paperback of the first batch after the whole war thing. So it started with them 2 years later, whatever happened. And I only got about halfway through it and got bored. So
1, 4,
I've not
5
read it
I'm up
since.
to, and if you read them all good, like quickly and through.
Is Rick dead yet?
No.
Oh, I'm not interested then. The only thing that'd get me back in now is hearing that Rick was dead, and then I'd catch up to find out how he died.
Just read it all, because it's really
So Rick is dead?
No.
Well, then I'm not interested.
Read it all.
So Rick is dead?
No.
Well, I'm not interested then.
He might not be far off.
So he's dead?
No.
Is it? Have they done another poison arrow? And he'll magically get better next week.
No, I forgot about that
I didn't put the poison on it after all. Don't worry.
No, it's one of those things where I thought this isn't ever going to carry on and be any good, and they've done some clever stuff so far.
The moment they did the arrow with the zombie juice on cliffhanger and then didn't follow through on it, that was when I stopped enjoying that comic. That was just a stupid storyline.
I quite enjoy it. Like, there's, Negan or Negan, whatever it's called, is in jail, and,
He was still in jail when I last read it 20 issues ago. If he's still in jail now,
but is he? I
this
don't know.
comic moves even slower than the TV show does.
Yeah, it hasn't been 20 issues. I think they're only 15 into the whole new world.
Okay. Well, I've got 6 of them sat on top of the telly.
Yeah, you should get caught up with it all.
Not that
I
bothered.
could let you read my e-copies of it on my iPad or something. That'll take you 10 minutes.
I'd need you to have a reliable iPad case for me to be able to do that.
What did you think of the new show? Yeah.
Glad I didn't buy AMC just for this. I'm glad it came free because I had BT Sport. Because we actually turned it off after half an hour. Because I didn't realise it was a 90-minute special. And
Yeah,
I got half an hour into it and thought, this is, aside from having Sawyer's girlfriend in it, this is the most boring half an hour of TV I've ever watched. And if it didn't have the Walking Dead name on it, I wouldn't have made it this far.
Yeah,
so I turned it off.
Identical to that, really.
But then turned it back on again today and watched the rest of it, and it finished okay, but I don't know, I don't like the characters.
No.
There's the weedy little drug addict who's just doing a Johnny Depp impression, and I was reading about this on the internet because I knew we were going to talk about it, so I was reading some comments on the internet, and the internet's going wild for this dirty little drug addict who I just can't relate to. Who's apparently so good, he's obviously going to be the leader. No, he's just a tool, and I hope he dies. I'm a bit disappointed that the wrong one died. Yeah, by the way, there are going to be spoilers. If you haven't seen this, just...
No, we don't need to...
No, there's 10 minutes of the episode left. If you don't want spoilers for Fear the Walking Dead episode 1, just turn off now.
Really.
I want to spoil it because...
in The Walking Dead all the time, we don't have to say who died.
I want to... Yeah, but that was my biggest issue with the episode, was who they chose to kill. Because they had a fantastic opportunity to...
Be shocking.
Yeah. Kill off the one who it looked like was going to be one of the stars, and get someone who's obviously a baddie, but is in with the rest of the family, have him survive, and then have to go and live with that group, knowing that he killed their son, but they don't know he killed their son. He was the drug dealer who sent their kid off the rails, and all that would have been a fantastic opportunity. But instead, as the internet has been going crazy all week, instead they killed the black guy again, as The Walking Dead always does.
It's lame thinking. I mean, the mum and the dad are awful, and the daughter's awful.
But the mum's Sawyer's girlfriend.
I don't know what.
Sawyer out of Lost.
In real life?
No, in Lost, in the flashbacks, that was Sawyer's girlfriend.
She's hideously old.
Yeah, Lost was 20 years ago. That started 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Okay. I don't remember. But, no, I mean, they're just an awful family, and I kind of just think, hopefully, The Walking Dead will be brave enough to just kill them all off.
Well, I would guess the weird kid who brought the knife to school is going to become important, because we saw him again on the bus towards the end, so I guess he's going to be a recurring character. He's going to be relevant somehow, but yeah, I don't know. It just...
The amount of times that made you think someone was going to be a zombie as well. It's ridiculous.
And again, some of the reviews I was reading were saying that's what made it fantastic. They're using the fact that we all know what's going to happen to keep tricking us and build the tension. No, they weren't.
It's just annoying.
It was just cheap nonsense and jump scares.
He's just leaning into a wall. Is he going to be a zombie? And then he just turns as I'm listening.
Banging on a drum and strumming a loud guitar all at the same time to try and shock us, when in actual fact we just want something, anything to happen.
Yeah.
This is only a 6-episode season. And they've wasted the first episode, and it looks like it's actually just going to be 6 episodes of generic zombie movie. Where the thing that was...
I think it's just going to be family dramas. It might as well be Neighbours with the occasional zombie in the background.
Yeah.
I kept thinking, all the way through, I kept thinking, this is just an episode of Neighbours. If you just ignore the first 2 minutes where there was a zombie, and ignore the fact they're probably going to end on some sort of cliffhanger. I was convinced the whole way through that this old fella would turn into a zombie. And I kept saying to my wife, like, I don't even know why they're dragging it out, which is part of the whole suspense. I was just sat there thinking, he'll turn, and that'll be it.
Couple of other things as well. When did the zombie outbreak happen? What year? How long has Walking Dead been going? So let's assume we're living in the TV universe. So 6 years ago. So 2009. Did we have iPhone 4s in 2009?
No.
Did we have tablets that you could just sit and watch the news on in 2009?
That is a bizarre plot.
Did we have 2015 cars in 2009?
Never even thought about that. That you think they'd have just made the effort to... I mean, if they can accept bloody Mad Men in 1960... Yeah.
And it's just lazy. Why have an iPhone 4 in a show that's set in a time when the iPhone 4 didn't exist yet? Or are they trying to say that... Oh yeah, the zombies came to LA 4 or 5 years after they came to Georgia.
Nobody knew.
Yeah, well, that was one of the other things that I was reading online. Someone made the point perfectly. 7,000 people a day die in America. Are they genuinely trying to tell us in this show that nobody noticed when they all started coming back as zombies, and this has been able to creep up over days and weeks?
Yeah.
Because it's just going to be instant when it happens.
Well, there's an argument you could say that not everyone's infected yet, and it's only people who are infected and die that are going to get it.
But I thought the whole point of The Walking Dead was everyone was infected. So are we now... Are they now changing it so that not everyone's infected?
Well, the whole point was that everyone was infected by that point at the end of
But we're already at the point where...
No, at the end of The Walking Dead, that the whole world was infected, so if you died at any point you were going to turn. But they made a big thing, I thought, in this show. It was just kind of... I mean, the long-haired scruff bag is infected because he was obviously in a room covered with blood.
Well, how's the drug dealer infected? He turned. He just got shot and he
But
turned.
he must have caught it from
Who?
his mate.
No, he didn't. No.
They were hugging in the bloody shop.
They're all infected.
His family's infected. I
They
don't think
have
the
to
whole
all be
world is
infected.
infected yet. Because, like you've said, I mean, the first thing that would have happened would have been all the funeral homes would have just burst open and all the graveyards
Would have been like a Michael
burst.
Jackson video. Would have been superb.
But that hasn't happened. So
Well, in that scenario, would people who've been dead for years start digging out of the ground, or do they have to get infected while they're still alive?
I assume they have to get it while they're still alive. It's never been addressed.
It'd be rather splendid if skeletons appeared.
But this will get cancelled.
Well, it's only 6 episodes anyway. They just won't bother renewing, I imagine, because it is just pants. And I don't know. It felt really lazy, and it upset me to see that Kirkman was involved in the writing of it.
Yeah,
because
I saw his name and thought, oh god, no, I'm going to feel a bit down about this now.
Yeah,
If it's rubbish.
he's capable of better than that. But then I thought about it and thought, is he really capable of that? Because if you really break down, The Walking Dead is cool, but if you actually break down the storylines of the comics, they're all quite generic, and they're made good by the fact that he knows where to put a cliffhanger, and they go week to week, but they all fit typical story arc structures. They're basic stuff. The TV show is all quite basic storylines, made awesome by
the characters
a proper film director coming in and doing it. Mr. Shawshank Redemption coming in and doing it.
He's made some good characters, but then only some. Like, I'm talking Rick and Coral.
Because if you compare this
in the comics,
if you compare this as an episode 1 spin-off, episode 1 of the comics was fantastic. Episode 1 of the original show was the comic one. That was fantastic. But compare this to episode 1 of the Telltale game. That was far better than this. Telltale did a much better job than these jokers
If this was a comic and I'd just read that, and for a whole comic all that happened was a family had been a bit rubbish, I'd have just put
If
it
it
away.
didn't have The Walking Dead in the title, would you watch episode 2?
No.
Are you going to watch episode 2 now?
I don't know, because now you've told me it's only 6 episodes. I think it's, assuming they're only an hour, I'm not going to watch it for 90 minutes again. But I can handle another 5 hours. I don't think I can handle another 7.5 hours.
Splendid. Right. We've got 3 minutes left. Get on the scales.
Yeah, let's
Come on.
go.
Sheepdog's going first. He's going to walk over there. We have a studio audience to watch Sheepdog on there. Anna's come to watch him stand on the scales, probably to make sure he doesn't break them with his
I was
heft.
going to say, don't let her watch if she's going to be upset that I use my shoes.
We've already revealed the fact that you get text alerts when she weighs herself, so this is just her getting. She doesn't get the
It's
text alerts.
not the weight I'm worried about.
Do you want to hand me your microphone?
How do I
that
turn it on?
You stand on it. You've used it before.
Oh, right, I literally stand on it.
Give me your microphone. I'll hold it in front of your mouth so that you can give me your reaction. You've actually turned away from me so that you can face Anna. Oh, look, he's getting his phone and everything out of his pocket. How you feel? Are you nervous? How
Well, it's
you
got the
feel?
right first number. It says 18.
Starts with a 2.
1811.
Is that more? I don't remember where I
was
were before.
19.2 or something.
19.2, so 18. Oh, see, this is worrying. I'm not going to. What was I last time? Do we remember? Was I about 20 stone?
You were into the 19 by a pound.
Oh, I wasn't, was
You
I?
was,
Oh,
yes.
for goodness sake. Hold on. Why is it saying BF?
Don't want to play Battlefield.
Okay. Your shoes don't have any body fat, apparently. He's not putting his bare feet
No,
on that. That cost us £100.
I wouldn't want to put my bare feet in public.
It's telling me the Wi-Fi is not working, so you're not going to get a text alert. Who's going to hold my microphone? Anna's going to hold my microphone. You have to hold it up to my mouth. That's your mouth.
I'm finding it rather intriguing that my phone weighs a whole pound, because that went 19 and I put my phone on the side and it flipped straight. Actually,
Right,
it was 4 pounds.
as we discussed at the start of the show, every weighing I've done previously, I've been wearing shorts and no shoes. So I've added 2 pounds of clothing. I have. I'm wearing jeans and I'm wearing shoes. So it starts with a 20 and it's working out if it's adding any more on, I think. It seems to be stuck.
Bloody hell.
Put on 4 pounds in the last couple of weeks. But, as I say, I'm taking jeans and shoes to be
Hang
part
on.
of that.
We have forgotten as well. No, we do always take off for anyway.
We do. And I'm taking off for the fact we're not naked.
The We Fit always said what you're wearing, and it'll give you an option of underwear.
What are you wearing?
Yeah, it was always a bit pervy. Are you wearing underwear? Are you wearing like trousers and t-shirt? It does, and it says, are you wearing like jeans?
Anna, you can't join in. You don't have a microphone. You're not allowed to speak to the audience.
So, because I'm often wearing heavy jeans, I mean, I've genuinely tested this at home. I've taken them off and weighed myself, and there is a difference. 'Cause I thought the Wii was just talking nonsense, but we always said a £4 allowance, so that put you at £1 under 20.
Right, you. shut up. You can do more of this on More From The Internet. If you want to hear more from the internet, you need to sign up for our mailing list at weirfromtheinternet.com/bonus, or get involved on Patreon at weirfromtheinternet.com/pledge. We'll do another 15-20 minutes where we're just going to carry on talking. In the meantime, you lot, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do that at Kevin Steve, or you can follow me at Lelujo.
And I'm at RB6K.
Or you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Kevin Steve, or we have a website, it's weirfromtheinternet.com. That's where you can get that Amazon link from that we talked about earlier in the show. We'll see you next week, boys and girls, and make sure you get involved in More From The Internet in one of those ways that we talked about before. See you next week.
Good week.